Have you ever seen a Formula One driver publicly admit that his teammate deserved to win, even after starting on pole and doing everything right? That's exactly what Lando Norris did right after the 2025 Belgian Grand Prix. Amid a race marked by an unpredictable storm, strategic tire changes, and over an hour of suspense before the start, McLaren put on a spectacle. But what really caught everyone's attention wasn't just Oscar Piastri's victory, but Norris's brutal honesty when he admitted, on camera, that, not even with a perfect race would I have won. In this video, I'll show you everything that happened behind the scenes of that race, so stick around, like, and subscribe to the channel. Spa-Francorchamps, the 2025 Belgian GP, was further proof that this legendary circuit doesn't forgive mistakes, but what was supposed to be just the 13th round of the championship turned into a true ordeal for drivers, engineers, and fans. And it all started with the most disruptive element of any Formula One race: rain. The start was scheduled for 10 a.m. Brasilia time, but the storm that hit Spa was so intense that race officials had to delay it by more than 80 minutes. Visibility was zero, puddles were forming in critical sections of the track, and drivers' radios were blaring with complaints of aquaplaning already on the way to the grid. And that's where the first major highlight of this GP comes in: patience. The entire paddock, from teams to stewards, had to wait, review setups, recalculate strategies, and adapt decisions in real time while the storm persisted. And when the start finally did happen, it was in safety mode, with the safety car out, without the traditional burst of energy that comes with seeing the cars tear through Eau Rouge on the first lap. Even so, tension was already in the air, and it wouldn't be long before everything went up in flames. With the track still wet, most drivers started on intermediate tires, but the key factor in this race began to take shape precisely at that moment. McLaren, which achieved a historic 1-2 finish in qualifying, with Norris in first and Piastri in second, decided to split strategies right away. Norris went on hard tires after the first window, opting for a more conservative approach for the final stint, while Piastri risked the mediums, seeking more grip and pace in the opening stretch of the real race after the restart. And then, my friend, the chess game began. At the restart, with the track still slippery, Piastri didn't hesitate. He used the long straight after Eau Rouge and Norris's slipstream to make a clinical overtake, the kind that defines an entire race. The Australian not only gained the position but also managed to open up a gap before his tires began to degrade, which was crucial. Meanwhile, Norris began to struggle with the temperature of his hard tires on a track that wasn't yet 100% dry. The result? Compromised pace and a growing gap to his teammate. It was there that Piastri's victory began to take shape. And, ironically, it was also the moment Norris realized that perhaps even a perfect race wouldn't be enough to turn things around. And it was exactly after the final flag, with the engine already cooling down and the emotion still etched on the faces of the two McLaren drivers, that the statement by Lando Norris, in an environment where every word can become a headline and any slip-up can be interpreted as weakness, the Brit surprised everyone by going against the grain of traditional discourse. No excuses, no beating around the bush. He looked into the cameras and said in no uncertain terms, "Oscar did a better job. Even if my race had been perfect, I still wouldn't have won." This statement, which went viral within minutes, revealed not only admiration for his teammate, but also a rare degree of self-criticism and honesty within the Formula One paddock. Norris's remarks came shortly after he got out of the car, during the official FIA interview. And if you know Lando's style, you know he doesn't usually hide his frustration when he thinks he could have done better. But this time was different. Instead of highlighting problems with the strategy, complaining about the wear on the hard tires, or blaming climate change, he preferred to recognize Piastri's merit. "The truth is, he passed me early and went away. I was able to keep up later, but the gap was already made," said Norris. Perhaps the most striking detail of the statement is the tone Norris used when he said, "Shoulda, woulda, coulda, doesn't matter." An English phrase that, loosely translated, means something like could, should, maybe, it doesn't matter. This line not only conveys acceptance of defeat, but also suggests that, no matter how much he reevaluated each lap, each pit stop, each corner, the result would probably be the same. He admits that even without the wear of the hard tires at the beginning, Even with a more aggressive choice or a quicker reaction after the restart, Piastri's performance was simply superior that afternoon at Spa. And this gains even greater weight when we remember that the two are fighting directly for the 2025 title. Before I continue, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so that the YouTube algorithm recommends this video, and let's go. The gap between them before the race was minimal, and now, after Piastri's triumph, the Australian has extended his lead to 16 points. In such a tight championship, where every victory is pure gold, seeing one of the title contenders acknowledge the other's superiority is something you don't see every day. It's the kind of attitude that divides opinions. For some, it reflects humility and sportsmanship. For others, it's a sign that Norris may be starting to feel the weight of the internal pressure at McLaren. It's also important to remember that this wasn't the first time Norris had publicly praised Piastri. Since the Australian joined the team in 2023, Lando has always shown respect for the quiet and methodical way Oscar improves each weekend. But this was undoubtedly the most direct and symbolic statement yet. And this raises an important question. Is Norris genuinely impressed by his teammates' performance? Or does this statement also carry a certain internal frustration, perhaps even a bit of discouragement? The trade press began discussing this almost immediately after the press conference. According to Sky Sports F1, Norris's tone wasn't one of resignation, but of sincerity. He didn't throw in the towel, quite the opposite. He made it clear that he'll keep fighting, that he knows where he went wrong, and that he wants to come back even stronger in the next race. But the subtext was there. For the first time in 2025, Lando Norris realized that the title won't be a one-man race. And that perhaps, even with everything in his favor, pole position, perfect setup, confidence, there may still be someone faster than him on some days. And that's what makes this statement so powerful. Because it's not just a line thrown out in an interview. It's the portrait of a shift in attitude. The kind of shift that turns a friendly rivalry into a cold war inside the pit. That makes engineers start recalculating priorities. That gives the strategy team that silent signal that maybe, just maybe, it's time to choose a number one. And so I ask you, do you think McLaren should maintain complete equality until the end? Or is it time to start favoring those who deliver better results? Leave a comment below and let me know what you would do if you were in Zak Brown's shoes. Let's start with the restart, because that's where everything began to change. After the storm delay, the race restarted under the safety car, with the track still damp, and the cars were given the all-clear on lap 5. Norris, starting from pole, maintained the initial lead, but as soon as DRS activated, Piastri launched with surgical precision. On the Kemmel straight, using the slipstream and extra traction of the medium tires, while Norris was betting on the hard tires, Oscar dove in at just the right point and overtook with a clean but decisive move. There was no hesitation. He knew what he was doing. And more importantly, I knew that moment would be decisive for the race. From there, he began one of the most meticulously calculated races of the season. Piastri knew that choosing the medium tires would require him to quickly open up a lead before the compounds began to lose performance. And that's exactly what he did. With fast, consistent laps, he built a comfortable lead of over 4 seconds in the first free-flowing laps. Even with the track beginning to dry unevenly, Oscar managed to find the perfect balance between aggression and equipment conservation, something that, for many veterans, is the hallmark of a champion. What also caught attention was how Piastri managed the pressure. Even after the pit stop, when Norris began to threaten with fresher tires in the final stint, the Australian did not make a single mistake in wrong braking. No off-track runs. No fluctuations in pace. He simply kept the line clean, controlled the 2-second gap, and responded with authority whenever Norris tried to close the gap. And if we analyze the data, Oscar's dominance becomes even clearer. According to F1 data analysis, Piastri's pace between laps 12 and 25 was the most stable on the grid, with a time variation of less than 0.2 seconds per lap, even with traffic and increasing tire degradation. It's a level of control typically expected from champions like Hamilton or Verstappen, not from a driver in his third F1 season. In fact, if you hadn't noticed yet, Piastri is already a consistent performer. 6 wins in 2025, and Belgium's was third in the last 4 races. It's not a phase. It's consistency. The next stages are on technical, medium to low-speed circuits, like Zandvoort, Marina Bay, and Suzuka, where smooth corner entry and the ability to keep tires lively for longer make all the difference. And guess who has excelled in these areas? Oscar Piastri. In contrast, Norris showed signs of fatigue and frustration in races where he had to improvise off-track or deal with hard tires on long stints. Combined with the mounting internal pressure at McLaren, this creates a scenario where small mistakes can be costly. So, tell me, what did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing.